Good morning, everybody. I am the Tank Commander. Yes, I am back. I am doing this video because of two reasons. One, I was planning on having a rail fanning in Depew, New York video. However, my setup, unfortunately, did not capture the sound of anything there, so that video is a complete blooper, as I was hoping to show at the end of the video. But I'm wanting to come to this because, well, obviously, we're still in a pandemic here, and for the purposes of this video, we need to do this. Yep, that's right. I put a mask on for this video. Now, what is this with masks and all that? Well, I'm going to talk about this because this is a severe issue that we are currently dealing with today, alright? I wear this mask because, well, it's a federal mandate. Now, the mandate varies from state to state, but it is something that us Americans are seeming to get more annoyed with. Okay, well, let's try and understand something here, alright? For those of you who have known me longer than anybody, will obviously know that I have an underlying condition called asthma. And asthma is a very, very dangerous condition to have in an event like this pandemic. Why is that? Because with asthma, your immune system is already compromised. I have severely underdeveloped lungs. And why is that? Because I was born 7.5 weeks premature. That's right. I was born very early, so I already had a compromised immune system since birth. But what we want to discuss is that the issue that I'm trying to bring up is, why do we wear them? Well, the thing goes as follows. You see, we wear masks because it is crucial for our health. It is crucial for our health and other people's health. A lot of people are going to look at and say, the other part of the health is different. Well, it has come to my knowledge, and I am sure everybody knows about this, trending over Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and all of that. It is a subject that I wanted to go through today, known as the Karens. Yeah, you heard that right. Karens. I'm sure everybody has known this. Now, what are Karens? Well, to put in a brief definition, Karens are self-entitled ladies and men, the men are known as Chads, or male Karens, who feel like they have the right to go about and saying how this is this and that is that, and my way is correct, and nothing more. Well, unfortunately, they all happen to show the same thing when it comes to these masks. And that is trending over Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and all those other things on social media. And you know something? Let's think about this, alright? So why bring up Karens in this pandemic? Well, plainly simple, because the thing is, these Karens are very self-entitled, and they think that they don't have to follow the rules that everybody else does. Well, unfortunately, that is the reason, one of the main reasons why this pandemic continues to spread in America. Because people like this exist. They don't follow rules, they don't follow mandates, and they think that all this is nothing. Now, the worst of it is, plain and simple, is I'm pulling up this card here. Now, what is this card? I have the information in a little binder here, and I'm going to read it. It's what's known as a face mask exempt card. And it reads as, I quote, unquote, I am exempt from any ordinance requiring face mask usage in public. Wearing a face mask poses a mental or physical risk to me. Under the Americans with Disability Act, or ADA, I am not required to disclose my condition to you. Department of Justice, ADA violation reporting number, yada yada yada. If found in violation of the ADA, you could face steep penalties. Organizations and businesses can be fined up to $75,000 for their first violation and $150,000 for any subsequent violations. Denying access to your business and or organization will also be reported to the FTBA for further actions. Seeing what was known as the FTBA. FTBA as in Freedom to Breathe Agency. Alright? Now, the problem with this card is that the fact that you see what is the symbol of the Justice Department seal, claiming that has been approved by the Justice Department. There are several things wrong with it, and we have to look at this as such. Now, we have to first look at the Americans with Disability Act of 1990, or ADA. And this is the definition I found from Wikipedia, just to get the simplest thing. The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, or ADA, excuse me, it affords similar protections against discrimination to Americans with disabilities as the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which made discrimination based on race, religion, sex, national origin, and other characteristics illegal. In addition, unlike the Civil Rights Act, the ADA also requires covered employers to provide reasonable accommodations to employees with disabilities, and imposes accessibility requirements in public accommodations. Okay, so, what does that imply? Well, let's just say this. If you listened very carefully to this document, alright? The ADA requires that for employers with employees. That does not mean customers. So, to put that into perspective, that means that employees that have a disability, such as with me, who has anxiety, disabilities have to be seen around. Now, for one thing is, for many people, they knew that last December, I had ear surgery. So my employer had to accommodate me around my disability with the things that I couldn't do. And things are still going on with that. However, in a pandemic, you are not exempt from wearing a face mask. And that comes to the next part of it, which is this. As we all know, these cards that have been showing up on viral video have been confirmed by the Justice Department to be a fraud. Their fraudulent use is as fraudulent as ever. And here's to put one from an article that reads from Time Magazine's website. And it reads as follows. Face mask exemption ID cards are going viral, and the Department of Justice says they're fake. And it reads as I quote, produced by Madeline Carlisle, June 27th, 2020. Recently, face mask exempt cards have appeared on social media claiming the U.S. Department of Justice, or DOJ, has cleared certain individuals from wearing protective face coverings to stem the spread of COVID-19. This week, the DOJ declared that it has not issued and does not endorse any such identification. Many images of face mask exempt cards circulated online, including the statement, quote, wearing a mask poses a mental and or physical risk to me. Under the ADA, I am not required to disclose my condition to you, end quote. Many images also include the DOJ reporting number, the DOJ seal, and the warning, if found in violating of the ADA, you could face steep penalties. The U.S. Attorney's Office of the Middle District of North Carolina posted an example of one of these cards on Friday, tweeting, fraudulent face mask flyers, exempt cards not authorized by the Department of Justice. Quote, do not be fooled by the chicanery and misappropriation of the DOJ eagle, end quote. U.S. Attorney Matthew G. Tay Martin of the Middle District of North Carolina said in a statement on Thursday, quote, these cards do not carry the force of the law. The Freedom to Breathe Agency, or FTBA, is not a government agency, end quote. Quote, the Department of Justice has been made aware of these postings of flyers on the internet regarding the Americans with Disability Act, or ADA, and the use of face masks due to COVID-19 pandemic, many of which include the Justice Department's seal. The DOJ said in the statement, quote, these postings were not issued by the department and are not endorsed by the department, end quote. Quote, The department urges the people not to rely on the information contained in these postings and to visit ada.gov for ADA information used by the department, end quote, the statement continued. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Maine shared another example of a fraudulent exemption card in a tweet on Friday. Quote, "These documents are not issued or endorsed by the DOJ," the tweet said. Several of the cards appear to have been created by a group called the Freedom to Breathe Agency, a Facebook group that aims to resist government orders that promote or dictate the wearing of protective face coverings. Quote, "Our face mask exempt card was issued as an educational tool based on overwhelming amounts of citizens reaching out to us for having health issues and unable to wear a mask." Quote, the group said in a statement to the Time. Quote, "The exempt card was issued by FTBA and not the ADA or DOJ. There was a misunderstanding with the seal, and it was since changed to avoid any further confusion. The FTBA card is valid and legitimate educational tool that refers to U.S. citizens to their legal and human rights under the Constitution of the United States to prevent discrimination, intimidation, and coercion," end quote. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control, or CDC, and Prevention recommends that all people, regardless of if they're experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, wear protective masks in public settings, especially in areas that are significant community transmission, to limit the spread of the virus. As of Saturday morning ET, the U.S. has identified at least 2,467,874 cases of COVID-19 and at least 125,039 confirmed deaths, according to a tracker from Johns Hopkins University. So, that being said, there's something for you. Oh wait, what's that? You don't believe me? Alright, well here's another article from ABC News' webpage by Mark Hanrahan from June 29th, 2020. Group behind fraudulent face mask exempt cards pledges to keep distributing them despite website takedown. A group which circulated so-called face mask exempt cards purporting to exempt the bearer from ordinances requiring face coverings to be worn in public say that they will find different means of distributing them after their websites were taken down. Department of Justice officials issued a statement on the cards, some of which were branded with its logo, advising that they were, fraudulent and were not issued by a government agency. Oops. The cards, which for the moment are no longer available for purchase, say, quote, "Wearing a mask poses under the ADA." The card also carries the warning that violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act can be met with steep penalties, including the fines that I just read to you. Those are my words right there at the end. Did you get that? The cards feature a Department of Justice logo and a logo incorporating a bald eagle for the group that produced them, the Freedom to Breathe Agency. The cards also warn denying access to your business and organization will be reported to the FTBA for further actions. Quote, "Don't be fooled by the chicanery and misappropriation of the DOJ eagle," U.S. Attorney Matthew G.T. Martin of the Middle District of North Carolina said in a statement. "These cards do not carry the force of law. The Freedom to Breathe Agency, or FTBA, is not a government agency." FTBA's Wix website and Facebook group page have been taken down. A new private Facebook group was created last week and now has over 400 members. In a statement provided to ABC News, the FTBA communications team said that the cards were an educational tool and that their purpose was to educate the public on their legal and human rights under the Constitution of the United States of America. End quote. The group also said that they had issued a statement clarifying that the cards were not issued by the Department of Justice, adding that they would be pursuing distribution of cards by other means. Quote, "We already have several independent business outlets activated that are selling these cards and will be launching nationwide distribution, end quote, the group's communications team said. The group said it created the cards after receiving complaints from, quote, desperate citizens, remember, quote, unquote, desperate citizens, across the U.S. who had medical conditions that prevented them from wearing face masks. The group's founder, Lenka Koloma, advertised versions of the cards which did not feature the Department of Justice logo on her personal Facebook page. Her post advertising the cards was flagged as false information by the social media giant's fact-checkers. Her personal website also features videos on how to deal with, quote, face mask shaming, end quote. Quote, it is our focus to educate the public about the importance of unobstructed oxygen and their overall well-being and help the community increase natural immunity without sacrificing the freedom of responsible choice, their health, and the health of others, end quote, Koloma said in a statement provided to ABC News. Face masks have been a flashpoint for conflict during the coronavirus outbreak, with a string of violent encounters, including the murder of a store security guard, tied to confrontations over the coverings. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, recommends that people wear cloth face coverings in public settings, especially when other social distancing measures are difficult to maintain. So there's from the ABC News. What's that? You people still don't believe me? Well, guess what? Here is the original statement from the U.S. Department of Justice's webpage. United States Attorney's Office, Middle District of North Carolina. COVID-19 alert. Fraudulent face mask flyers. Exempt cards not authorized by U.S. Department of Justice. Greensboro, North Carolina. U.S. Attorney Matthew G.T. Martin of the Middle District of North Carolina today urged the public to be aware regarding fraudulent fraudulent postings, cards, or flyers on the internet regarding the Americans with Disabilities Act and the use of face masks due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many of which include United States Department of Justice's seal. An example of these cards appears below, which is the one that I showed you already. These postings, cards, and flyers were not issued by the Department of Justice and are not endorsed by the department. Quote, do not be fooled by the chicanery and misappropriation of the DOJ eagle, said U.S. Attorney Martin. Quote, these cards do not carry the force of law. The Freedom to Breathe Agency, or FTBA, is not a government agency, end quote. U.S. Attorney Martin urges the public not to rely on the information contained in these postings and flyers and visit http://www.ada.org for official information about the Americans with Disabilities Act. For more information of the technical assistance about the ADA, please contact the ADA information line at, I'm not going to read the number. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends wearing cloth facial coverings in areas where social distancing guidelines may be difficult to maintain, especially in areas of significant community-based transition. That is the DOJ. So, there's the information for you. The fact that people are doing this is a deliberate way of saying that I'm not going to do this. I have a condition where I don't have to say, well, this is my first video saying this, is that I have a condition that prevents me from wearing a face mask. I'm calling bullshit on that. Yes, you did hear me just say that. It's bullshit. Blödsinn, blesniak, whichever language you say it. It's the fact that these people don't want to wear a mask. They feel that it's encroaching on their rights. Really? What rights? as you did here, that's a non-government agency. You're trusting an agency that is not endorsed by the government. Also, you think about that. You doing that and you going online and putting these videos up are making you look bad, Karens and Chads. So you try and argue with these facts, because as a history major, one has to look at the facts, and these are all from credible first-hand sources.
Oh! Booga, 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 booga!
Also, there is the issue that I have noticed in a lot of these videos, saying that the Karens were saying, this is public property, and on public property we have our rights. Okay, let's clarify this a bit, alright? Public property is property that is open to the public. However, a business is not a public property. A business is a privately owned conglomerate or organization. For example, you have things like Mighty Taco, you have things like Tops, Wegmans, Walmart. These are all privately owned companies, which means that, yes, it is a public space, but it is private property, meaning that you get to go there because they have to service you, because that's the service industry. However, during a federal mandate, when you see signs that say no mask, no shirt, no shoes, no service, that clearly means you're not going to get service unless you wear the face mask. And for those who are workers at all these businesses, the federal mandate mandates that you wear your face coverings, and I especially have to wear it, and it also says that the business can refuse service to anybody who does not wear a mask in the building. However, we have to think of one thing. One big thing is that, of course, you need to know, is that many people often say how they'll say, I'm not wearing a mask because I was born in a free country. That's got nothing to do with the Constitution. It's got nothing to do with your rights. If you go through and read the Constitution and the amendments, this breathing stuff has got nothing to do with freedom of speech. Okay? So, I saw this video months back. And you want to know what it was called on Facebook? The world's biggest coronavirus idiots. And guess what? You want to know where all those idiots were? Right here in America. Because Americans are entitled. Because we think we're God's children. Heck, any country thinks we're God's children. But you want to know something? Here it's where entitlement really shows its colors because of how the country is run. But you know something? Unfortunately, that's not going to help stop a pandemic. It's the fact that when people feel like they don't need to do something, they're not going to do it. It's the same thing as like if you're at a job and you don't want to do a task that's a part of the job. Well, here, with social media, you get caught like that, and you get identified, you're going to get called out. And all you Karens out there better realize this, because unfortunately, here's the headline that I saw just after I came home from work around 1 in the morning last night. Yeah, that's right. You saw that correctly. The President of the United States and the First Lady all tested positive, and now they have to go into quarantine because of it. So, you people trying to say that this is a hoax, I'm not trying to be political here. We're talking common sense. Because you lack the common sense to go along with everybody in order to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay smart, look what happened to them. So, by seeing that the top of our government has tested positive, that should tell you something. Because these Facebook groups And these organizations who continue to say that this is nothing but a hoax, it's not a hoax. Because people are afraid of this. And it's because of the fact that we have to continue dealing with this. The pandemic may never stop. So we all need to look at this and realize that this is no joke. It's absolutely no joke. So I want to end it with this. I want everybody to understand. We all need to work together with this. We all need to work together to stop this pandemic or to slow it. We all need to work together to make our country safer when something like this happens again. And we all need to work together in order to be smart about this. Because it's stuff like this, and these occurrences that we see on social media, that's what also contributes to the spread of the virus. So, I'm asking everybody, please, please, do yourselves a favor, and do everybody a favor. Wear masks, socially distance, and remember to be careful. Because nobody knows anybody who hasn't gotten tested yet. No one knows who has the virus and who doesn't. We may all have it now, but that does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that we are immune to it. So I do hope that all of us are going to look together and look past this bullshit nonsense on social media and say, this is ridiculous, this is wrong, we cannot go through this. Because this absolute ass crap has got to stop. Because more people are going to suffer because people like this continue to do this stuff. So, on that note, everybody, I bid thee farewell from this video, and I hope you all learned something. And just remember to stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, not stupid. And also, for more Karen videos, feel free to go on Facebook and look up the person called The Young Turks. And also on YouTube, feel free to look up the channel's Public Freakout videos and Retail Nightmares. Links all in the video description below. Thank you very much. I am the Tank Commander. Stay safe, my friends and viewers.